Hi guys, this is Jarvis. He's a 7-year-old African grey and he's just been rescued by myself from a family who've actually had him since he hatched in 2014. But I believe he's been passed around and he's developed a really bad habit of plucking his feathers quite badly. And he doesn't seem to know the difference between plucking and preening, because here he seems to be preening but he'll just quickly revert sometimes to plucking. It's quite sad. He's been kept in a very small cage, probably what most would call a travel cage actually. That's what he's been kept in his whole life, and he's gotten used to basically staying in there. So I picked him up on Sunday and I've kept him with me literally every minute of every day, every hour I'd say of every day. Since I got him, I've taken him everywhere I go, kept him in the car with me, and he's been very happy, but he always reverts back to plucking as his form of gaining attention from the owner. So in my case, if I'm eating something that he wants a bit of, and it's not necessarily healthy for him, he'll revert to plucking, and he won't just choose a random feather. He'll just go straight to his tail, directly to his tail, and pull on it. And he started doing it with other parts of his body now, such as the feathers on the back of his between his wings, the top bit right behind his head. He started doing that. He pulls off literally just one piece of feather at a time, just to gain attention from myself, and it's quite sad. So I've tried to, change things in his environment, his food, his toys. He doesn't seem interested in any type of toys. All he seems to want is to be with you. And another thing I've noticed about him is the way he likes to be preened by myself, for example, in this case where I'm his owner now. And it seems to be that he only likes to be scratched on the head at night time and sometimes in the morning. So his sleeping patterns seem to be quite sad as well, where when it's time for me to sleep, for example, he'll start dancing even though he's completely tired because he's had a very active day of hardly any rest throughout the day. He'll start dancing in his cage. You put him in the cage to go to bed and he starts dancing, but before you put him in the cage he'll be sleeping. He'll be trying to sleep on the side of my pillow, for example, on the back end of my bed. He'll be trying to sleep over there on one leg, settled down, ruffled up, flicking his feathers, his wings every now and then, just to what I assume is him being very settled down for the night. And then when I'll turn the lights off, he'll get freaked out, and sometimes he's flown around as well. There he goes, just pulling out one of his feathers there, line by line, almost, whatever the word would be, a line of feather at a time. In between preening, he'll do that. So it's a bit sad that he doesn't really know that preening is supposed to be preening and plucking is a thing completely separate. But here we get a really good view of the ends of his feathers now. As you can see, he just picks at the new bits of red that come out, and it is very, very upsetting. I am pretty sure now that most of those feathers are not going to grow back until a vet actually intervenes, because what he seems to do is bites them until it bleeds, the blood clots, and eventually the feather inside no longer is able to come out and just dies in there, which is why so many of them are just block stalks with no feather coming out. I don't know how he's let the two on the sides get so long. You might notice the orange patch on his back over there. From what I've read on the internet, that is not a birth defect or anything. It's actually caused by excessive plucking to the point that the follicles are damaged and left like that without any colour. I've seen some African greys which turn out a lot more orange than that. He's only got the one feather. We're not really getting much of a view of his front here, but his front is not as damaged, but it is very fluffy as if he's a young baby, and he's not smoothed down his breast, which is again a concern. And as you'll see perhaps in the video later on, where his head and neck feathers should, almost like a roll neck shirt, just go all the way down his body up until his wings, but they stop instantly as if he's plucked them off there. So that's another worry. But yeah, as I was saying about his nighttime routine, he'll be ready to sleep. From the body language you can see he's ruffled up, almost on one foot, closing his eyes at complete peace outside of the cage. But as soon as I'll pick him up, he'll gladly get onto my finger, I'll put him in his cage, and put the cover, a thick blanket, dark blanket over his cage, and he'll immediately start freaking out, complete silently. He never makes any sounds, any upset. He doesn't vocalize his depression or his sadness, or his anxiety even. He just starts dancing around from one foot to the other, neck reached out all the way to the wall of the cage. He'll be just sitting there trying to get that attention, and I just feel really bad leaving him there. And I haven't read up on this at all, but what I'm trying to just basically do is leave him to get used to that darkness and be in his cage, and eventually he'll fall asleep. But I just don't know if that's any good for him, because he could be in there plucking away without my knowledge while I've turned the lights off and gone to sleep. So one possible option which I might consider is moving him to another room entirely, but then I'll have even less of an eye on him. I just don't know what to do to help him sleep a bit better. He sleeps during the day a little bit, but he needs to be really calm and safe. He needs to feel super safe to sleep during the day. He was doing it earlier here, sitting on my lap while I was doing this voiceover for the video, and he doesn't do it often enough. And I just think because he doesn't feel at peace, he's always engaged, or he's always stimulated by his environment, that he feels the need to be alert all the time. But he had a bath earlier today, and it's 2 p.m. now. He probably had a bath at about 11, and he didn't preen much since he had his bath, but now he's sitting here on my knee on one foot, preening away, very, very happy, and similarly to what he's doing in this video. So I don't know. I mean, I need to definitely seek advice, and he will be seeing an avian vet based up in Radlett on Wednesday of next week. So today being Monday, not the Wednesday coming, the one after that, he'll be seeing the vet that day. Now, if I can make any videos or film any footage of that day, I most certainly will, just for his YouTube channel, for others to see what it's like and so on. But I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna have to make a list of all the concerns that I have, that I want to have addressed with the vet. I mean, the first few things are the state of the beak and the claws. That's something that the vet will obviously deal with anyway. But the fact that a lot of the things that he plucks out, the stalks of feathers that he plucks out, the new pin feathers, when I find them lying around his cage or the floor, one side is completely dry, prickly feathers, and the other side is almost filled with his own saliva, which is what I'm assuming it is, his saliva. And I don't know if those are dead pin feathers that are no longer going to even ever develop, because it's very hard to even remove the film that is surrounding that cone of new pin feather. It's very hard for me personally anyway, with my short nails, to remove that film for him, and he's not able to do it himself. And when he's upset, he pulls the whole thing out, the entire thing. And I'm not sure if he chews on it for a long time to get his saliva on it, or if it's just wet, rotting there. I just don't know. It's very worrying. So that's something that we're going to have to address when we take him to the vet. So I'm hoping the vets will just be more than happy to put him on some oxygen, make him, go to sleep, and then just freely check every single part of his, body, just to make sure, just so we know what sort of condition he's in and what we need to be worried about. And along with that, I definitely need to stop feeding him the food that I'm eating. I just feel so sorry for him, the way he sort of wants to eat the food I'm eating, and I can't always give him the food he wants to eat, because it's not necessarily good for him. But if anyone's got any advice on how to sort of divert your bird's attention from your food to a food that's safe for them, I'd really appreciate that. If anyone's got any advice on how to get the bird more settled down without having to be fully engaged and forcing him not to pluck his feathers, that will definitely be a bonus as well. And there he goes, scratching his poor eye. Oh, you sweetheart. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. It's just the first video since I've bought him, and hopefully there'll be many more. But I do really appreciate the information you give me. Bye bye.